Welcome back to the ASN Dad Chat. We're a podcast and community dedicated to making sure no ASN dad in Scotland has to walk this path alone.
Our goal is simple: real talk, real honesty, and sharing our own experiences to help you navigate the system. Whether you're in our meetup group already or just finding us now, you've got a seat at the table.
And just a reminder, we aren't experts, we're just dads, and this is just experiences and opinions, not medical advice and not legal advice. Now let's go on with the chat today.
Hello and welcome back to ASN Dad Chat. This is episode number 10, and today I'm joined by Sam.
Hello.
Barry.
Hello.
And James.
Hi.
Hi, so James, welcome to the podcast for the first time, joining us on episode number 10. Good to have you. I think what would be quite good for the viewers before we get cracked into today's episode, if you could just give us a bit of background about yourself, James, that'd be great.
First, it's great to be here, and from my perspective, I'm a dad of a joyful wee boy who is almost 6 years old. He is on the spectrum. He has a lot of quirks with him, and he comes with a lot of sensory needs, but at the same time he has a lot of superpowers that I say to myself and to him as well. He is self-taught on how to read,
Okay.
which I think is wonderful for him because it helps to calm himself, and he can jump endlessly. When I mean endlessly, I mean endlessly for an hour or so without a break. And if he was able to live in water, he would be able to live on that forever, surrounded by water throughout. So those are his things, and he loves creepy stuff, which I hate, like insects and spiders and so on, which I totally detest. But those are some of the things that
Great.
make him special.
No, good. I'm glad. I'm sure we'll hear more about him in the coming episodes. And I guess the other thing, obviously, I hope you've been listening to the other episodes so far. And is there anything you've been enjoying so far? Or?
Yeah, so far I have listened to all your episodes that have come out. One of the main things that I feel as a autism parent is the sharing part. It makes you feel that you're not alone. And listening to people, especially things, even if it is for the 50th time or something, just to see that other people are in the same place as you, gone through the same things as you, and seen the perfectly lined up cars, perfectly there you go, perfectly lined up alphabets, and which I feel is truly grateful, which I am grateful for, because these are unique things that other people might not see, and those are things that make me calm down and say, okay, life is not all about the ups and downs, but it is about the normal life as well. And the laughter that you guys bring about in the conversations, which I feel is needed in this stressful life. And practical tips as well, whether it's just a haircut that you guys do or noise cancelling headphones, and how you guys cope at a doctor's office, and so on and so forth. Those are things, might be small, navigating therapies, navigating NHS, all those different aspects that you bring about are truly
Great. No, I'm glad that there's been some benefit to it, and it's great to have you. James is our resident super sportsman at everything that we do.
Definitely playing the games that
So,
James knows he's good
yeah,
at.
so I'm sure he'll be smashing the podcast game at the park as well. So yeah, glad to have you on. So this week, what we're looking to talk about, it's quite topical, given that we've just kind of passed the Easter holidays. We're just going to talk about how we kind of survive or cope, or
Sometimes a good one.
I would say, I was going to say enjoy, but it probably doesn't fit here. Any of the sort of school holidays, we've just went by the Easter holidays, the kind of planning that goes into it, and then essentially the whole flip side of getting back into that routine. So loosely getting out of routine in the first place, into the holidays, and then getting back into that routine to kind of get back to school is the main focus that we're going to look at today. We've obviously all just went through that there. How was the Easter holidays for you guys?
I mean, I'm alive, so you know I've got to take that, I guess. No, I think it can be kind of 6 and half a dozen in our household. You know, our daughter, she's at school 5 days a week, and then my my youngest, he's at nursery 3 days a week. But he was in over the holidays. It's a private nursery. He was in kind of I think apart from Christmas, all the days are fine. But I think for her, she really loves the thought of staying up late. She's like, oh, our bedtime routine's out the window, you know. So there was many a day I was sitting in the living room at 12 o'clock watching Diary of a Wimpy Kid with her. You know, which I'll be honest, I absolutely despise, but she loves it. So yeah, you just kind of have to nod along and pretend to laugh at the jokes, you know. But no, I think it can be difficult, you know. The breaks throughout the year, there's obviously so many. They're required, you know, for everybody that's working within, you know, education or wherever, you know, and it's about trying to find alternative activities to try and you know, keep your burn out your children pretty much until they go to bed. I think that's the way we look at it. You know, I think for us, we were trying to kind of plan trips to our local ASN places, going out to the park, going on walks, and a big advantage of where we live at the moment, we live just down around about Loch Lomond, so there's a lot of nature and wildlife, and getting the kids out into the fresh air and away from their tablets for a wee while. You know, they love their screen time. You love their screen time. I know we talked about that last week, but we try and kind of break up the day. But it's difficult because you have to be there the whole time with them. You know, you're dedicating so much time that time that you would normally have to yourself or to focus on housework or to go to work, etc. You know, you've got that to, you know, you've got to invest that into your children over that break. So
yeah, you're essentially
what about yourselves? Kind
of mentally preparing for a 2-week military operation when it comes to the holidays. But yeah, what about yourself, James? How did you survive?
Yeah, Nathan's routines are always there. So for Nathan, it's like shoes off, jacket off, hands wash, and this we started off when he was 2 years old, but then we were quite surprised as how well he started doing it, and it became like monotonous with him. As soon as he comes home, that is his routine. So routines are very important for him to cater to, and when school is off, even for a small period, that becomes difficult. And I'm one of those people who doesn't plan that much, so I was given a week, and my wife was given a week to take care of Nathan, so we were off work. And this time around, I had to send messages off to our dad chat group and ask the other dads what they were up to. And thankfully, few of the dads had posted messages across, and I actually used a few of them. So we did go to an ASN place. It was in Lindsay. It was a little far off, but we did go there, and we spent 2 hours there, and I met another dad's kids as well there. Okay. So we did do some activities, mainly on soft play areas and going out to parks and so on. But the weather was good, so that helped. That helps a lot, to be honest. When summer comes, my son changes, I feel, into an entirely different person.
Good. And what about yourself, Barry?
Much the same. Yeah, the routine's an important one, but I think it's he we're fortunate that he really enjoys school, but when he's not there, all that kind of the backbone of his kind of day to day is out the window. And just very we always find Easter. I've found Easter to be a bit tricky, particularly after the clocks change and stuff like that as well, and the daylight's different, and sleep patterns a little bit out, circadian rhythms a little bit out, and it can get. He was just hyper for 2 weeks. What we did try and do, which we haven't done previously, usually we would kind of take days off and things like that. But in this holiday, we tried to work from home sort of between us, which was really difficult because it's essentially he's in the house, kind of he's having to fit into our day rather than the other way about. Mm-hmm. And kind of tricky. He was don't get me wrong. He was great. He was happy and he was enjoying stuff. But he's a little bit hyper and a little bit wild, but nothing too unusual. What about yourself?
Yeah, so I think it was similar to what James was saying. So me and Cheryl split it, and we had a week each. So Cheryl took the first week off, I took the second week off, and it's just all the planning that goes into it. So Cheryl worked through the calendar, and we probably did this about a month or more than a month beforehand, just to make sure that everything was planned. Previously, the kind of experience that we've had with holidays, especially the last summer holidays, have been horrendous sort of thing. So I think that's just prompted us to make sure we had everything planned kind of constant throughout the day, because with Ashton being up from anywhere from kind of 5 a.m. and not going to bed until about kind of 10 o'clock at night, it's, I think what we said before, it's 24/7 just kind of watching them, or not 24/7, 5/9 rather. But it's just constant, so you do have to keep him stimulated, and it's one of the things that you don't really appreciate, that when they go to schools, obviously that 9 till 3 of just having them stimulated, having them in that routine. So as soon as they lose that over the holidays, there's a massive gap that you're having to fill. So yeah, Cheryl was brilliant. She made sure that along with other mums, they made sure they had different things booked out. They were going to lots of different events, a couple a day some of the times. And then I think just in terms of the weather, I think that helped massively. It meant that we could get back into the garden again. So when it came to my week and I wasn't quite as well planned, that there wasn't as much stuff booked in, and we just had the kind of blessing that we had the garden, and we've got the trampoline and things there, so Ashton was able to spend a lot of time there. So I would say experience of these holidays were more positive than the others, but you almost kind of feel like you need to take a week off work after it just to try and relax, which I think is a kind of common thing where you go on holiday with your kids. If you take any sort of time with them, you feel like you need a holiday after it to actually relax. But yeah, it could have been worse, essentially. I would say, but definitely with these holidays, it is, for Ashton anyway, is making sure that we have as much planned. I feel like if he is just in the house, I mean, there's only so long that he can have the kind of tablet and things before it does have the kind of adverse effects. So yeah, I'll definitely be looking to make sure that I follow Cheryl's lead going forward. But I'm not too sure how it's going to work in the summer holidays. They're slightly bigger than Easter holidays.
Easter is definitely a wee warm up for the summer, isn't it? It's to get us started.
7 weeks of just it's exhausting, you know, and by the time that your kids go back, you feel like you're owed a summer holiday yourself. I think for us, our snack reserves have taken an absolute beating. Honestly, like we go to Costco quite a lot. You know, love Costco. We've got member cards and that, and we always stockpile on tons of snacks. But honestly, I don't know what it is about the breaks, but the kids just go through them like nobody's business, you know. And I'm sitting there, and there's, my partner, she'll be out and about, and she'll be like, "Oh, do we need anything?" And I'm like, "Yes, we need an entire shop." The kids have ate everything in the snack bowl, everything in my snack drawer, and everything in your snack drawer. So yeah, I feel like something natural that happens with us. We see certainly our, like, financially, it's more, it's a lot more daunting during the break, because you have to pay to get into like activities and stuff like that, and then you need to pay for more and more shopping. So it can be very difficult to plan all of that, like you were saying. You have to do it in advance, and trying to plan out all these activities, and having backup plans upon backup plans. It can be very difficult, but you just have to kind of push through, Yeah,
I guess it's something you do eventually have to get used to, but it definitely isn't cheap, as you were saying there. These sessions, well, it's great for them to be on and things. For certain ones, it can make them a bit more expensive to go to. If you are wanting to go to a session that's got less kids, it can obviously push the price up a bit, but I think it's something that we're all going to have to get used to it at some point. But yeah, the food as well, just has to be a constant stockpile of food that you don't even realise is depleting, as you say. But yeah, James, do you think yourself think you'll be more planned next time? Have you learned anything from these holidays?
I hope so, because this is going to be our first summer holidays, because my son is in P1 and nursery. Yeah, now that I think of it, because nursery covered all year round, and it was like even for the timings per se, nursery used to support till 6 p.m.
Yeah.
And right now we are at 3 p.m. That itself is a little difficult with work and stuff, but I can't take 7 weeks off work. I wish I did. Could, but I don't think so. That's even feasible. So planning holidays is going to be one of the key things that we realized needs to be done well in advance, and people do it quite efficiently over here, and I need to plan that well. And it is expensive. Everything is expensive during the holiday season. Even going out on a trip or something is twice as much expensive, with all the places being full as well. That's the other aspect of this.
And it feels McDonald's isn't cheap anymore as well, by the way.
It feels more expensive as well when you leave after 5 minutes. So
they seem to cost more, those sessions, don't they?
It definitely feels that way. But I mean, I think in terms of the summer, I think we'll definitely in the group, the kind of dad's chat that we've got, try and build together some sort of plans just in terms of what's on there. And we obviously know there's different places like Pop In and Play that we've mentioned before, Bouncy Bees, that you can hire out privately. So it's something that we can try and kind of pull together. But I think
we need to like rent a big football pitch or something, and just be like
a country or something, just
make them run. Actually they
military academy.
Not really, but
they send that boot camp.
But my son and few of the other kids that I've seen, if they have an open space, they just run from one end to another, and they seem happy with that. They don't even need those extra toys or these costly ones. Sometimes, last year I bought something for Christmas, and he liked the cardboard box that Amazon parcel came in, not the actual toy, which I had bought for so much money. And that is the thing with kids in general itself, but with our kids, it's like, give them a lot of place to run and they'll be so happy with it.
Definitely. I think one of the other things with Easter, which makes things even harder, the fact that they're obviously dysregulated, full of chocolate, but also the fact that you're pretty limited. So like, it's not as if you can just decide that you have to plan and you have to hope for these ESN sessions. It's not as if you can pop into somewhere, because obviously it's not just your child that's off on Easter, so everywhere is busy. So whether it could be a case of, obviously you'd mentioned before that your oldest quite likes to go to the supermarket sort of thing. Things like that could be massively busy when you would expect it to be quiet. So I think it is just everything's hyped up, everything's busier, and it does make it difficult. It feels like there's a kind of lot of pressure on yourself. You've not got a lot of time to yourself anymore, because you're even more exhausted than normal. As I say, there's not really a lot of points where, I don't know about your kids, there's not a lot of kind of downtime in terms of he's just going to be like, I'm just going to go chill on the couch for a couple of hours, go do what you want, Dad.
That school day being out the window is it's tricky. I think that's a general consensus from this first kind of section, is that school is, and teachers are the unsung heroes and absolute saviours, but they get far too many holidays. So it's a balance.
That's true.
That's a balance, true. But it's a tricky time. It's a tricky time.
You know what, I think I done primary teaching at university, and I was only in it for a very short time, but the respect I have for teachers is immense. You know, I think every year, you know, they have more and more things to produce with less and less, and you know, I think especially I've seen it this year, especially my stepdaughter, her teacher has made all the difference. She was at a school up until primary, like she started primary 2, and then it was she just wasn't really getting the additional support she needed, so we moved her, and she is thriving now, but it's terrifying in that process, you know. But I think teachers, as you know, as well as, you know, people in the NHS, you know, massive respect for all that they do and how hard they work. And you notice it, especially like, see when your kids, you're gonna come home to you for 2 weeks, and you send them off and you're like, bon voyage, see you later. You know,
Absolutely.
bye bye.
I think there's almost this kind of like, I think they're obviously used to the routine in school as well, because like I'd love to say that I'm massively structured at home with everything routine, it's exactly the same every day, but it's just not the case. Whereas in school, it's obviously very close to that. They've got things that they do every single time, and even with you can kind of tell that there's like essentially like a kind of respect there, that they kind of understand, okay, like this is the teacher, this is the helper sort of thing. So like Ashton's PA, she was previously his key worker, and even when she's in the house with Ashton sort of thing, like she'll say go to the toilet, he'll be in there straight away, no problems at all in there washing his hands. Whereas with us, it's sprinting the complete opposite direction. So it's almost as if, because they're used to these demands, but being part of a school environment, it doesn't feel as much as it is in the house from when it's myself or Cheryl asking the same sort of thing. It's as if they take it better from someone that they see every single day, and they're used to it. That's part of their routine. Being asked these things is part of the routine. So yeah, I think the school are absolutely brilliant with all these kids.
No, I'd agree. We have a kind of similar, because initially we actually thought it was more of a kind of a masking thing, that he would be in school and he would, you know, be trying his best to kind of fit in and settle and everything else, and when he would get home things would kind of act up. But it's definitely a combination of the two, that structure, they learn what's expected of them type of thing to an extent, but they don't always bring it home with them. Do you find the same, Jude?
Yeah, even a simple routine, like for example, this is what I saw the first time in the Easter holidays, was like he goes to school in a taxi, and that's like his daily routine, but all of a sudden after 3-4 days no taxi, and he's like, fifth day he was asking me at taxi. I was like, no school for 2 weeks, dude.
Yeah.
But that is somewhere at the back of his brain that he needs to go to taxi, though he doesn't go very peacefully every day.
Mm-hmm.
But there is that routine at the back of his mind that, okay, why am I not going in a taxi now?
I think it's difficult. Like, I know my oldest, when he took him out of his school just before the summer holidays last year, and you know, every single morning it was taxi, school, see everyone, and it breaks your heart a little bit, because you want to just be like, yeah, let's go, but you know, they're not robots. They need rest and preparation, and you know, I think sometimes it's hard to value their time as well as you know, we value, you know, the kids' time. So it can be very difficult, and you know, I think especially with my oldest being out of school for near enough a year now, you know, I cannot wait. You know, we're going round right now looking at schools, and you know, we're hoping that I think he's been accepted into one, but we're having to, you know, we're having to speak to the council about trying to get funding put in place, because it's a private ASN institution. It's all a bit technical, but honestly, to see the day that they tell me that he's going into a school and it's the right school, I can't wait, because he needs it, you know. And it's like you said, it's a core fundamental part of their routine. You know, it's where they're going to learn, it's where they're going to socialise. You know, we can do as much as we can, you know, but we have all of us have certain skill sets, and you know, teachers, there's so many different teachers out there that can bounce off of our skill sets, but also, you know, introduce new skills that we can't.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think but over the focusing on like the Easter break and stuff like that, I think just like you said, trying to be organised, trying to be prepared, you know, trying to come up with random plans. Like, I know our back garden, we've been utilising that quite a lot, like messy, you know, filling up a paddling pool, you know, messy play, you know, painting, all of that sort of stuff, and just hosing them down once they're done. You know, but just trying to keep them occupied and trying to, you know, get them out and about, and you know, I want to say kind of include them in society, you know. And I know if that sounds kind of what we were talking about last week, it's, it's obviously something, you know, you want your child to be as included as humanly possible. So taking them out we try and take our oldest out to, you know, neurotypical things as well as ASN, you know, trying to include them and get them to know as much children as humanly possible. So
Good. Yeah, we were just trying to, in terms of the other things we were trying to do with Ashton was we've got like a Starbucks and a Greg's just down the hill for us, so it's trying to get him more used to walking. He used to always just want you to put him on your shoulders or walking. He is getting a lot bigger sort of thing, so when he's on my shoulders I feel like I just get shorter every time. So it's trying to, essentially, because he quite likes a blueberry muffin in Starbucks, he likes a sausage roll in Greg's, so giving him that kind of goal to walk down and walk back home has been great. I just feel it's kind of like life skills, that sort of stuff. So that's the sort of thing that I was trying to kind of keep him occupied over the holidays when it was my week, and I hadn't planned as well as Cheryl had. I guess
they do copy us quite a bit whenever we do something. For example, during the Easter holidays as well, I was trying to do some exercises, looking at some videos, and all of a sudden he was doing planks with me, which I didn't expect at all for him to do, because it's
special interest.
Yeah, because it is difficult for me to do that, and for him to even try that, I thought that was great. And sometimes we don't realize that they see us as the mentors kind of stuff. And they do. We are their heroes at some point of time or the other, and that is where they copy stuff when they see something going. And for us, for the holiday season that is coming, we have to plan for his birthday as well, so it is double trouble for us because we need he likes outdoorsy stuff. It's good it comes in the summer, but then we need to do something about it, plan about that as well. So we need to plan it properly this year.
Yeah, well, I'm sure there'll be plenty of dads out there that give you some suggestions of different places to go, especially outdoors and different things. That I'm sure we've got plenty of places we can help with that. I think the other thing to kind of touch on before we move properly on to kind of the flip side, the whole getting back into the school routine, inside the kind of Easter holidays or and holidays in general, is there any particular routine that you guys don't compromise on? Obviously we said before about specific bedtime routines and Glenn putting us all to shame in terms of the kind of routines that they've got in place, but is there anything that you still do, even though it could be a case of this is something that we only really do for school? It could be a case of, it could be a shower in the morning because before he goes in the bus, these sort of things. Is there any sort of routines that you continue over the holidays, or do you just scrap them all?
The one I usually sort of stick with, you've kind of already mentioned, like, but bedtime needs to be that is something that it's kind of, it can throw things off for a sort of considerable period. So that's something it's very easy as well when you're on holiday to kind of, you know, when they're up in the morning whenever they like, essentially, like it's very easy to just let the bedtime routine slip. But it's important for our sake as well, that, you know, you get your time to unwind before you do it all again, particularly when you're spending the full day with them, type of thing. But yeah, that's one I don't compromise on. Bedtime is bedtime.
How about yourself, James?
I agree with that. I very much agree with that one. I would say for my stepdaughter, it kind of fluctuates. You know, her bedtime routine, we just kind of let her kind of over the holidays, maybe until like maybe we kind of phase it back. Once, you know, we're coming up to the holidays being over, so maybe like 3 or 4 days before she goes back, we'll put our bedtime to 10 o'clock. We'll put our bedtime to, you know, 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock, and get her back to the 7 o'clock. Because I think what we used to do was just be like, right, your bedtime's back to 7 o'clock, and she would struggle, you know, because she'd been up at 12 o'clock that time. She'd went for a nap at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. She was waking up at her bedtime, and I was like, it's just not going to work. But apart from that, I think, you know, the standard, you know, showers, teeth brushing's a big one in our house at the moment. Apart from our stepdaughter, my two boys, they can't stand getting their teeth brushed. you know, one of my oldest, he's a big boy, and trying to get him, you almost have to kind of pin him down to actually get a toothbrush in his mouth without him trying to chew it with his pica. So, and then our youngest, he just tries to kind of spit, but because of his throat surgeries, he aspirates quite a lot. So we just have to be very careful not to kind of force it on him. So yeah, but trying to make sure that we ingrain the same sort of routines that we do in a holiday and out of a holiday, you know. But yeah, I think that's what I would say in our household. What about yourself, James?
Yeah, for Nathan, it's routines, as I told you. So he takes melatonin right now. So it has to be that time of the day before he can go to bed, and it needs to be 30 minutes before. And it's better for him that way, because then he will go to sleep and not wake up in the middle of the night and keep us also up in the middle of the night. So that is very important for him. And his showers, the one thing that we give more during holidays is his shower time. He loves his showers, and he doesn't want to. In the mornings when there is school, we need to get him packed up, wrapped, and shove some food in and pack him to the taxi. But during the holidays, we give him more a relaxed bath kind of stuff, or we give him like 20 to 30 minutes of shower time, which he loves to bits. But the other thing for him is also about this brushing. This is one of our worries as well, because he uses only one type of toothpaste, and which has been stopped right now. So we have stockpiled it to a bit, but the stockpile is diminishing. So any other toothpaste, he'll not even keep it in his mouth. That one, he will brush 20 times this side, 20 times that side, which is amazing. But the moment that goes away, that is my worry right now.
Does he know, is it from the look of it or is it the taste sort of thing? So if you were to do it and swap it around, he would know?
He will know even if I change the quantity. He likes that quantity and the taste, and yes, the color as well. We tried 6 different types of same brand. The brand has stopped. And they were selling it at a premium price in eBay. They have stopped that as well.
Oh no!
So it's just a particular brand or a particular flavour that
particular brand, which is white. Now all the kids ones that I see are blue or multicolored and stuff. He doesn't like any of them. He wants it white, and I think it's the taste as well. It is strange. This is one of our biggest worries come October, November, because I think by that time
should try contact the company and see if there's anything that they have to try and get some more.
We did contact the company as well. We got few, but after that they have not come back on that as well.
That's always your biggest fear with particular preferences and things like that. When they go out the window, you're in trouble. We ended up. That's a strange thing to get into depth about, but we had the same thing, like the toothpaste that he normally gets, and we were like, oh my god, this is going to be an absolute struggle. And it turned out okay, but there was just this kind of like look we got of sort of what is this? What this isn't the usual thing. But yeah, get away with it. We got away with it.
But yeah, I think something that we had was our oldest. He is absolutely addicted to barbecue sauce. I remember for whatever reason we could not find. It's like the honey barbecue sauce.
Not ideal for toothpaste.
No, yeah. Listen, that's as much as you will. I guarantee if you put that on a toothbrush, he would let you. To be fair, but I remember for whatever reason, every shop we went into, it was not there, and I remember I sneakily bought like another barbecue sauce and put it into the same bottle.
There you go.
And honestly, the look he gave me like this side eye
betrayal of, honestly,
I was like, you're not going to sleep tonight, bud, because I'm coming for you, basically. But yeah, I totally understand that. But I think teeth brushing it can be really difficult, you know, especially when your child not only has autism but has maybe additional conditions as
issues,
well. Yeah. I don't know. What about yourself? How is Ashton with teeth brushing?
Yeah, I wouldn't say he enjoys it, sort of thing, but he tolerates it essentially, sort of thing. It's just trying to get him to keep his mouth open. He isn't used to the whole like spitting out or anything like that. So it's a case of brushing his teeth and rinsing it, sort of thing. But I think again, it's something that they do. I think it's something that they do, or they did at school, or they did at nursery anyway as well, to kind of get him used to it. So he does quite like a toothbrush. So there've been times when we've been in the shop and I've had to buy him a pack of like 5 toothbrushes for him just to play with the full year round. So it's quite good in that terms, that he's quite happy to have the toothbrush, but it's just trying to get him to kind of sit still for long enough to actually let you to brush his teeth. But yeah, I think that kind of makes sense in terms of the difficulties of the holidays themselves, and obviously the routines that we're trying to stick to. But how have you found the return to school process? Now we're a couple of days in at time of recording. How has it been since they've returned to school?
I'll start it off quite positively. Ours went pretty well. Similar to yourself, James. Like Brody gets a taxi to school, which is again he loves. It's usually the kind of the bigger kind of people carrier type, sort of Glasgow taxis type of thing. So he really enjoys it. He's got a taxi escort he gets on really well with. He's always quite kind of pally with the drivers and stuff like that. So that kind of start to the day was a sort of good way to go essentially. And reports from then have been pretty good. He's had quite a settled week. So yeah, that's the positive story. I don't know if anyone's going to bring us back down to earth.
No, actually it has been good for Nathan as well. Surprisingly, we were a bit worried. This is the first time he's coming out of 2 weeks or after he has been in school continuously, and he was all smiles, and the teachers and everybody, we get feedback on a daily basis from the teachers, and they were like, he is all smiles, he has not being grumpy, he has been eating his food. So Nathan has his own food being sent across with him, like a lunch bag kind of stuff. He doesn't take food from the cafeteria, but he seems to be eating a lot more, and I think it's the weather as well that helps a lot. After the school started, it's been sunny and nice, and he loves the outdoors. He plays with the water and stuff. So the taxi has given good feedback. The teachers have given good feedback. Generally, he's been good. Fingers crossed.
Good, fantastic. I was going to say, I think my stepdaughter, she's been back at school now for a few days. She was off on the Monday. She just wasn't too well. She's struggling. She has a lot of stomach issues at the moment, so we've been kind of in and out of the GP and stuff like that. But she went back, was it Tuesday, and we found out after school that she took her sand shoes home, so she couldn't do PE, which was always fun. And then she went to her after school club yesterday, in which they gave us 2 jumpers and a pair of noise cancelling headphones that she'd brought that she'd lost. So yeah, we had like half a wardrobe filled up with all the stuff that she'd left over the break. But she's back. I think she's settling in. I think she loves to go to breakfast club in the morning. That's her kind of niche go-to. She loves to get up and get ready. We normally wake up around about 7 o'clock and get her dressed. I love the girl to bits, but she is as slow as a night in a jail getting ready. So we have to give her usually about an hour and a half to get ready. And then we take her. I take her in the car to her school, and we do her kind of. It's the same routine we always do. So we high five, we cuddle, we blow a kiss, and then we say it's like, see you later, alligator, and a whale crocodile. That's her routine. And then she runs, and every time she runs down, it's like down a hill and then to the right. And every time she runs down that hill, my head goes, please don't fall, please don't fall, please don't fall. because I'm like, one day she's going to do it, and just she's very clumsy, so it's always the fear. But she's settling in. What about Ashton?
Yeah, so I was kind of surprised. So previously, when Ashton returned to school, it's been a bit much. Like, he's struggled going onto the bus and things, and it's taken a bit of time to kind of get back into things. But this time, he was straight onto the bus, sat down relatively quickly. Usually, Ashton, when he gets on the bus, he has to run up and down and kind of label every single seat to tell whose seat it is when they kind of come on the bus, and gets his jacket off, jacket on, bags off, bags on, tries to go through the kind of the helper's pockets, the driver's pockets, everything before he'll do it. Whereas this time it was straight away sit down, which was surprising, and I think it just kind of shows that there's that greater understanding that essentially, like, when he is off, he is going to eventually get to go back to school. So obviously we talk about, like, it's really tough in these holidays, but I'm assuming that these kids as well are thinking, like, I can't wait to get away from these parents after how long it's been with them just following me about. So yeah, I mean, so far so good. School wise, he seems to have been relatively settled, which is good. I'm hoping it's just not lulling us into like a false sense of security for some sort of huge problem to arise, which usually tends to level itself out. But no, so far so good. I mean, in terms of preparation with Ashton for going back to school, it was, I think, just because obviously we've been keeping his bedtimes consistent, we've been, in terms of the kind of morning routine, breakfast and everything's been the same. It has been a case of, it was really just the night before of telling him, like, you're gonna, like, tomorrow go to school. Like, Ashton's not great in terms of seeing things too far in the future to say, well, today we're going to do this and then tomorrow's school sort of thing, or this and that. He's good at knowing what the next thing's going to be. Essentially, if we say, okay, in the morning you'll go to school, and then that's when he kind of understands it. Okay, that's it, that's the next thing I'm doing, I'm going to school. Got on the bus to see this person, and he's been quite enjoying listing things recently. So in terms of, I think I've obviously touched on before that he's obsessed with just collecting people's phones, and he quite likes now just like listing out, even just talking to him, he'll just it'll be like full eye contact, totally engaged. It'll be like daddy's phone, mummy's phone, just talking through them all and listing through like 40 different people's phones, and it'll be their cars, their bags, jackets, but it just keeps his attention massively. So it's that way of, we would talk through the people in his class, talk through the teachers, talk who's on the bus, and it's almost that way of like kind of switches them back into school mode. So yeah, he was good, and he was happy going back to school, which is obviously a massive relief, because I know obviously talking to other parents, it hasn't been so easy, and yeah, that was us even the last holidays. So I think it's that way. It's not a guarantee it's always going to be that way, but you just need to take a win when it comes.
I think you kind of learn when things do go well as well. You'll sort of learn things that will work for next time type of thing. We're the kind of opposite of Brody, that he's really into like calendars at the moment and like dates and all that kind of thing. So we did the opposite. We were kind of right Monday off big, because he would ask occasionally, like, going to school type of thing. So we were, Monday the 20th back to school type of thing. That's when you go back, and it was good to kind of count down towards that. But again, it's a different. We'll try that one again in the summer, but I don't know if we'll quite manage when we're talking at the end of July about the end of June, isn't it? Yeah, end of June.
End of July.
No, is it not the last week in June? I'm sure.
No. What do you mean?
To finish up.
I thought you meant when they go back to school. That's going to be no.
August, is it not?
August 17th.
Yeah.
So it's kind of what end of. God, it sounds like a long time when you're saying it, doesn't it?
Really not,
Yes, I don't think you'll have too much of a comprehension of August when we're still in June.
I mean, how it's usually worked for us, so even just looking at the Christmas holidays, Ashton will be the first few days, it would usually be okay to be quite busy, but it'd be that kind of last few days before he goes back to school, as if it's got too much, being like, I've been away for too long now, this wasn't just a weekend sort of thing, so it's got too long. So that's how I think that Cheryl and I thought how these Easter holidays are potentially going to go, because there's only so long before they realise, no, this isn't quite the normal routine here, there's something different. So I think it was just keeping him that busy seems to have just kind of helped smooth things over with him, so it's kind of essentially bribing him to stay happy.
I don't know about you guys, but we had to change up our kind of Easter routine this year, in the sense that we done a kind of egg hunt last year. It became too competitive, where one child got more eggs than the other one cried, thought that the Easter Bunny was against that child, etc., etc. So we decided to do it kind of in the morning before the kids all woke up. We put like a wee gift basket with like eggs, stuff like that. That not all at once, because my oldest, he would have ate all of it. But we had to change up our routine this year for Easter, which is one of those that you just kind of have to think on your feet. I think, I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, I think it's that way of, obviously there's the norms of, well, there's a wee Easter egg hunt, or there's all these Easter eggs and things, but with Ashton's not massively into chocolate sort of thing, like in terms of the egg, so which wasn't great. I mean, it's like the other night I was looking for something for dinner and I seen an Easter egg and I had that instead, because there's just so many of them in the house. So it would be easier if he would eat them, but I think even kind of looking over the past few years, Easter egg hunts, he wasn't massively into it. So I remember that my sister, and I adapted it, and she just bought lots of tiny wee plastic ones and filled them up with Skips, because Ashton likes crisps, and done it that way. So I think it is just trying to adapt it. And the one thing for us, we were obviously talking about how much it costs and how much of the food you go through in the holidays, that it was Ashton's birthday just before the Easter holidays, and then even during Easter as well. So for his presents, a lot of people brought crisps and things for him for Easter. A lot of the ones, instead of giving him Easter eggs, just brought multi-packs of Skips and Quavers and things, which was ideal for the house. It meant everything was stocked up, but by the end of the Easter holidays it was completely gone again. But yeah, I think it is just adapting. Instead of trying to force, you need to go do this Easter egg hunt, you need to go do this and do that, it is just trying to find any way that you can try and get them included in some sort of Easter thing. And if not, then it's not the biggest deal if they can't do it.
Nathan is not too much into Easter eggs per se, that's what we thought. But after the chocolates came up, and we were kind of restricting him to the chocolates, because he was, after one chocolate, then he was like, let me have another one, let me have another one. And then he realized that during Easter you have loads and loads of racks of chocolate when we go into Asda and so on, and he was like, put everything in. And I was like, no, that's not happening. So after Easter, when we were at the break, when we went to one of the ASN play areas, they had a lot of plastic eggs there, and somehow he had it in his mind that these are all chocolates, and he was trying to break each one of them. And that is another thing that we have now, that we have egg in the morning as well. He'll
be wanting chocolate ones,
chocolate ones rather than the actual ones that he can make an omelette out of. So it's a bit tricky with Nathan. We need to be careful what
clear
egg is and what chocolate egg is.
Yeah, don't want to mix that up.
It's amazing how like you have to kind of, especially with these breaks, you have to kind of break down everything kind of individually, and have to kind of reorganize it to how to fit your child, basically. You know, I think like when we're talking about all of the breaks, I think the summer is definitely right up there, because you know of how long it is. But I think for me, I think the winter one's almost as bad, because you know, I think the fact that you can't take them out, like you can take them out, but it's freezing.
So is that like the October week sort of thing, or
Christmas?
No, like see the Christmas break. Yeah, like the October one's not too bad. Like it's only, I only think it's what, a week or something like that. I think it is.
Only?
Not. To be fair, in comparison to like the summer, it's actually not that bad. But I think this, like over Christmas, I find it like, I think our kids almost start to like hibernate.
Yeah,
like their rooms are just filled with wrappers, and they like it's
the full house changes. You've got a random Christmas tree goes up, and there's just like sparkly things everywhere.
We've
what's
got a
going on?
Christmas tree up, but then our oldest started eating it, so we had to then change that to like mini Christmas trees in each of the rooms, and then he tried to eat that too. So we just kind of like had one out in the hall, like basically almost bordered off. Like if we could have hired a professional bouncer to watch this Christmas tree, we would have.
It's always next year. Or this year.
Well, there you go. I think the other tricky thing with Christmas is obviously there's a lot of places are closed, because there's a lot of holidays and there's a lot of places that you usually go on certain days, or that you usually that are just shut, and you're kind of you're sort of stuck. So, yeah, Christmas can be tricky as well. But teachers need a break. We've established that it's one of those.
Yeah, they do. They
we
do
can
well.
argue against it all we like, but it's
Yeah, I think that'll be one of the future episodes we can do further down the line. Probably closer to Christmas, we can do a Christmas episode.
yes.
We can do a summer holiday episode. I mean, yeah, if there's any other episodes that anyone that's listening would like us to go over, or anything that we've spoken about already, like us to go into more detail, then drop us a message. If anyone who's listening wants to get involved, get in contact with some of the dads, then again, drop us a message on Facebook or Instagram. Or if you have any sort of survival tips for the holidays that we've not mentioned, then yeah, drop us a message for that as well. We're more than happy to bring it up in the next episode or chat it through.
As is our routine, our own routine on ASN Dad Chat, we like to give a shout out to some ASN friendly establishments, facilities, classes, programmes, etc. And this week we've had, recommended by James with us in the studio, we've had Creativators, which is basically autism friendly environments where the whole family can relax and play. So play schemes that they run, safe inclusive sessions for all the family. They offer a variety of activities which can include arts and crafts, music, sensory activities, archeries, toys, games and chatting. You been to this a few times, James?
Yeah, I've been in it a few times with my son Nathan, and it's a lovely place where they accommodate both indoor and outdoor activities. They are very family friendly, so they do have teas and coffees as well, and you don't have to pay. There is a donation of £5, but it is optional, and they have it in few places actually. They have it in Bearsden, Kirkintilloch, and one more place in East Dumbartonshire. They run it thrice a month, so it is a place where you can go and spend 2 hours without thinking too much about your kids. It's closed, one exit, and there are enough volunteers there on various stations, right from Legos to building bricks to they do have pets, trained dogs who come and they help out with the kids to get accustomed to them and so on. So it's a lovely experience.
That sounds actually really
Sounds
nice.
great,
Yeah. I would search it on Google.
Yeah.
Have a wee scout of the website. It looks very accessible. It looks very easy to look at. I've never been myself, but I'll certainly have a look for my children. But thank you, James, for sharing.
One to look out for, definitely.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we can call this episode here. I think it's been great to talk through what seems to be, for us, a successful Easter period. Hopefully it does continue into the longer summer one. So thanks to James for coming on for the very first time. How have you enjoyed your first episode?
It's been fun and games so far. No, thanks for having me here, and it's nice to see you all in person and speak as well.
Yeah, I know you were a bit starstruck at first when you seen us, but I think you did well.
We're actually very friendly, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we've had to do a late switch out from Glyn. We've had to draft in 2 people to cover for Glyn.
We weren't here anyway. We weren't actually already here. So yeah,
Exactly.
perfect.
It's a tough man to replace.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah. Barry and Sam huddled around the one microphone, and it's been a lovely sight. But yeah, I think we can finish episode number 10 there. Thank you very much for listening, and we will talk to you on episode 11.
Cheers.
Bye now.
Bye.
Thanks for listening. If you want to get involved or get in touch with us, you can find us on Facebook or Instagram under ASN Dad Chat.